Hey, one of the biggest problems that guitarists face is finding time to play, finding time to practice, and just finding the time to learn and get better at guitar. So in this video here today, Mike B and myself have conjured up a whole slew of tips and advice on how you can not only get more time into your day, even if you're a totally busy person, but also just to find more time in your day to get inspired and motivated to play. So, I'm Will Ripley, and this is Campfire Guitar Star.
Tip number 1, get a cheap guitar for your workspace. I have this one-on-one student that has been taking lessons with me for years. We took a few years of in-person lessons together, and then I switched to online. I only teach online now. I've been teaching him online for years now. He's just been a really great student, and he's a super busy guy. So what he did is he just bought a cheaper electric guitar to keep in his office. So maybe at the end of a lunch break, he's got a 5-minute kind of down period. And that time, he just goes and grabs his guitar, runs through a few things, and just by having this guitar in his office, he still finds time to practice, even though he's a super busy person. So that's my tip, get a guitar for your workspace.
Tip number 2, don't bullshit yourself. Guitar is not fitting into your life because you don't make time for it. Guitar often falls low on the people's priority list because maybe it doesn't make you money, and you certainly don't need it to survive. It's not like food, air, water, shelter, all that kind of stuff. We don't actually need guitar to survive. It's very much a life enriching process and thing that you get into your life because it makes life better. For that reason alone, a lot of times guitar falls down the priority list. Like, it's not making you money, it's not, getting you a meal or feeding your family or whatever, and it just falls down the priority list till it's not on the slate at all. Like I said, don't bullshit yourself. If you're out partying, drinking, watching TV, exercising, or whatever, it could be positive or negative things, you're just prioritizing those things ahead of guitar. So guitar is falling down that priority list. So if you're, say, out doing excessive socializing, partying every night of the week and recovering from hangovers, then that's soaking up a lot of time and energy that could go towards guitar. It's just that you're prioritizing those other things ahead of guitar. So don't bullshit yourself.
Tip number 3, get guitar lessons. Now you're probably thinking now, well, I already don't have time to practice guitar, so why would I get a guitar teacher? Let me tell you why. The biggest reason you're not finding time to practice isn't because you have no time. I mean, that's preposterous. All it takes is 5 minutes a day, and you've definitely got 5 minutes a day. The reason you're not practicing is because you don't have a teacher. You're the only person being held accountable for practice and improving guitar. Whereas if you have a teacher, somebody who's checking up on your guitar practicing and giving you new stuff to practice, you're gonna find time to practice. It's gonna motivate you to find those little pockets in the day where you can practice guitar.
Tip number 4 is play guitar first. What I mean by this is before your day pulls you in a million different directions like it does with work and exercise and family and hanging out with friends or whatever the case is, play guitar first, even before breakfast, or maybe while your coffee is brewing, or whatever the case is. Wake up, shower, or even before a shower, just play guitar first. Sometimes getting the most important things done in your day earlier on will help you get guitar into your life and get your practice done first. So then it's okay if life pulls you in the million directions that it does. You have played guitar first.
Tip number 5, get lessons for your kids. One of the greatest things about this is that now your kids are going to be practicing guitar every day. So you'll see them practicing. It's going to make you want to practice as well. Also, you're going to want to be able to keep up with your kids. So you're going to have to practice to kind of keep up with them because kids can just learn things so quickly. Not to mention that you guys can now start jamming together. You can get some songs ready to actually perform for other family members or other friends. And if you actually start taking a lesson with your kid, you can start learning guitar at a child's pace, which can also be very beneficial.
Tip number 6 is to eliminate distractions. So although our computers and phones can act as great tools for learning guitar, for watching videos, or maybe you have an online metronome app, or whatever the case, a lot of times phones and computers can actually be detrimental to your guitar progress. So what I would recommend is turn your phone on airplane mode, shut down Facebook, shut down any kind of extra tabs other than maybe YouTube or a membership website or a DVD program that you're watching. Just have those core things set up, close down everything else, and also eliminate distractions that are around you. Maybe you have a roommate or a partner or somebody like that in your house. What you can do is just say, hey, I'm gonna be practicing guitar from 5 to 6, or I'm gonna be practicing guitar for the next half an hour. Just only come and talk to me if it's an absolute emergency. Okay, so that's tip number 6, which is to eliminate distractions.
Tip number 7, find a teacher that has an online calendar with a flexible schedule. So one of the nice things we do here at Campfire Guitar Star, you actually have access to my schedule and you can book lessons whenever you want. If you're the kind of person that would really enjoy having, the exact same lesson time every week, that's totally fine. We can definitely accommodate you. Or if you like to have a different slot every week or bi-weekly, we will also accommodate that. And if you have this kind of online self-booking system, it saves you a lot of time of emailing back and forth with your instructor, trying to figure out a time that works for both of you. Right now, I have students in Belgium, Holland, Germany, Australia, USA, and Canada. So a lot of these people, they've got really busy schedules. So I make it so that I have an incredibly flexible schedule. I have a lot of availability throughout the day. I just teach from home. You're gonna be taking lessons from home. You've got time for your lesson. You don't have to worry about commuting or any of that, finding parking. Online lessons with a flexible schedule is an easy way to find the time to actually play. So if you're a pretty busy person, online guitar lessons are definitely what you need.
Tip number 8 is to cut down on excessive things like partying, drinking, drugs, Netflixing, anything that's like just taking time away from guitar, especially unhealthy things. Cut down on the negative stuff in your life, because what that's gonna do is free up a whole lot more time to put positive things in your life like guitar music.
Tip number 9. Now this next tip is sort of about motivating yourself to find the time to practice. If you're feeling burnt out or unmotivated, you just do not want to find the time to practice, it actually might be because you're burning out on a topic. You're no longer inspired, you're just going to skip your practice session. Now this can often happen if you're working on the same thing for too long. So what I'd recommend actually to help yourself find more time is to have a few guitar projects on the go. Maybe have a song you're working on, a scale you're trying to learn, a rhythm exercise as well. If you just have a few different things to choose from, you have a better chance of finding the time to actually pick up your guitar and practice, because you'll be more motivated and more inspired.
Tip number 10 is to find a teacher that has a flexible schedule. Now, there's some super harsh people out there that will give you a 24-hour cancellation policy or sometimes more, and it's understandable because if they're providing a service, they should, and you cancel them on them last minute, it's kind of like you're taking money out of their pocket. However, for our busy students here at Campfire Guitar Star, we do 2 things. We offer an online calendar so you can always see what times are available, and you can also cancel those sessions within 24 hours and not get charged for them. So this is super handy for you busy people out there that can't commit to a certain time slot every single week, so you can always find a convenient time, and we'll help and work with you on rescheduling and canceling your lessons.
Tip number 11, get a one-on-one guitar teacher. This will really help you prioritize guitar and get it into your life, because it no longer will just be you being held accountable for your guitar playing, but there's also going to be somebody else making sure you're practicing. And this somebody else is going to be a pro who knows exactly what to show you, tell you why you need to learn it, and it's just going to give you all those reasons to practice and reasons to prioritize guitar in your life. And if you have a good teacher, practicing won't feel like a chore. Practicing will feel fun and exciting, and you know you're taking steps towards accomplishing your guitar goals.
Tip number 12 is to set goals and deadlines. So by setting a goal or a deadline, it's gonna make you work harder and commit your practice regime so that when it's time to hit that goal or that deadline, you'll be ready. So say if one of your goals was to play live and to play the blues, then what you could say is the first Saturday of next month, I'm gonna go down to the blues can and I'm gonna get up on stage and jam with the band. So what that means is that you have, X amount of weeks to get ready for that experience, but put that in your calendar, and now you've got a goal and a deadline, which will kind of kick your ass into practicing and just motivate you to just get into the practice studio, log in those hours, and get those techniques under your fingers that you're gonna need so that you can hit that goal and deadline with awesome results.
Tip number 13, give yourself as many reasons as possible to practice. Now here's what I did to really blast past the intermediate and the beginner stages of guitar. I just had multiple reasons to practice so that not practicing just wasn't an option. I had to practice. So what I did is I had one-on-one lessons. I was getting together with a pro once a week and they were showing me stuff to practice, giving me different things to practice. And then I had a band outside the lessons. So I was having to learn lots of songs to play in the band. I was writing music for the band. So I just had these two huge reasons to practice guitar so that when I got home from school, like just sitting there on the couch and not practicing wasn't an option. I was like, oh man, I gotta get to practice. I got a guitar lesson coming up I'm not ready for. I got all these different reasons to practice, and that's why I blasted past the beginner and the intermediate stage.
Tip number 14 is to set a timer when you play. Thing is about time is that sometimes it's not really a tangible thing. It's more of a feeling. Sometimes 5 minutes can zip past in like a second, or sometimes 5 minutes feels like eternity. So the thing about setting a timer when you play is it brings something that kind of extracts the feeling out of it, and it's just hard data. So you know that if you're working on a scale or technique, if you set your timer for 5 minutes, what that means is that basically you're gonna be really surprised how much work and how much damage you can get done on that scale in just 5 minutes. You're gonna be blown away by how many, sometimes hundreds of times you can play that one small thing. And that's really the whole premise behind my book, The 5-Minute Guitar System. And it's not about learning guitar in 5 minutes or any silly thing like that. It's about finding those 5, 10, or 15-minute pockets in your day when you can play guitar. You're bullshitting yourself if you don't have 5 or 10 minutes in your day. But even starting with 5 minutes in your day can just get you sitting down with a guitar in your lap, and you can play anything, or maybe you want to focus on something specific for 5 minutes. But that's tip number 14, which is to set a timer.
Tip number 15, take some time to figure out what your goals and ambitions on the guitar are. If you don't actually take the time to think about what you want to do with guitar, why you're playing guitar, your guitar journey will kind of be like you're a sailboat sitting in the middle of an ocean without a sail. You're going to be kind of just pulled in this way and that way and just jumping around, not really going where you want to go or accomplishing what you want to accomplish. You need to know exactly what you want to do with guitar and how good you want to get. That'll give you an idea of what to practice and let you know just how much you need to practice to get to that goal. For example, if you just want to get to the point where you play a couple riffs, you don't actually play any full songs, you just play a few riffs here and there, not really to the song, you just kind of have them down, you're not really going to have to put in much practice to get to that point. Whereas if you want to start jamming with other people or get up on stage someday or write your own music, that's going to take a considerable amount of practice. So you have to mentally prepare before you start your guitar journey. What do I want to do with guitar?
Tip number 16 is download a metronome app on your phone. So the other day I was sitting in my doctor's office waiting for my doctor to come into the room. I literally sat my phone with the metronome app open, I set it to a BPM, and I started working on my quarter notes, my eighth notes, and my triplets, and my 16th notes, and just switching back and forth just by tapping on my hands. Or you can kind of pretend that you're strumming or even move your fingers. It's just a funny little thing that actually really works for developing your rhythm. And of course, just having a metronome is going to be super beneficial. So get one on your phone today.
Tip number 17. Do something completely different than you'd normally do on the guitar. This is a great way to light a fire under your feet and to actually make yourself want to practice. So if you're a metal guy and metal's all you play, try maybe picking up an acoustic guitar, playing a folk style song or something different like that with maybe a strum pattern. Or on the contrary, if you're an acoustic musician, maybe try grabbing an electric guitar and plunking around a little bit. These little things will really inspire you to actually start picking up your guitar and finding those little pockets in your day where you can practice.
Tip number 18 is to listen to more music. So of course, you want to play guitar, you want to get music into your life, and music has inspired you in the past, but use music as fuel, okay? The more music that you listen to will act as more like jet fuel to inspire you and motivate you to practice learn and play guitar and music. Whether it's on your drive time commute, at the gym, maybe instead of watching TV, you just get those headphones on, crank up that car stereo, crank up that home stereo, listen to your favorite tunes regularly, and that will act as that driving fuel to get you motivated to practice and play guitar.
Tip number 19. Buy a new piece of gear. Buying a guitar is obviously a bit of an expensive experience and not something you can do every week. So even go to the guitar store, buy yourself a new pack of strings, find a little 10-minute pocket in your day where you can get those strings on your guitar. You spend some time putting these strings on, really gonna make you wanna spend a bit more time practicing.
Tip number 20 is to plan your practice time in advance. So maybe on Sunday or Monday, you have a look at your schedule and figure out where is it that I can fit in even 15, half an hour, 45 or an hour, 2 hours of practice time. Where is it in your days that you'll be able to fit those in? So then at least you can anticipate them, or you look at your schedule or you set a reminder in your phone that on X day at X time, you're gonna have some sort of practice time just scheduled in. So for instance, on Tuesday and Thursday nights from 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., those are my personal music nights. And I made this such a recurring thing in my life that my wife and my family knows that on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, I'm just unavailable. Those are music nights. Those are the nights where I'm playing, practicing, recording, rehearsing, jamming, do something with music. And so because it's such a recurring thing and I've been doing this for such a long time, that it's no big surprise that when Tuesday or Thursday come up and I'm not available, it's just, everybody knows that those are music nights for me. And so find out right now where you can schedule in those times, and the more recurring that you make those, then the more you'll be practiced knowing where those times are, and your friends and family will also know where those times are when you're gonna be too busy with the guitar.
Tip number 21, keep your guitars out of their cases and ready to go. Maybe even invest in some wall mounts. Every time you see your guitar, it's gonna inspire you to pick it up a bit more. You're gonna look over and you're gonna see them all the time. And let's be honest here, one of the hardest things about practicing guitar is getting it out of the case. Once you've got the guitar in your hands, you're having fun. It's easy to keep playing. It's just that initial step, trying to get the guitar out of the case, that can sometimes make you not wanna practice. Tip number 23. If you're traveling without a guitar, stop at a guitar shop. Pick up a couple guitars and play them. Even if you're just kind of testing them out for 5 minutes at a time, that's still picking up a guitar and playing, which you need to be doing every day to keep that desire alive and to keep really improving on the guitar. Not to mention, if you've played hundreds of different Les Pauls, hundreds of different Strats, tons of different Tellies, you're really gonna know what you're looking for in a guitar. You're really gonna understand what your guitar preferences are, because everybody has different guitar preferences. And the only way you can learn what you like is by playing lots of different guitars.
Tip number 24 is quit Netflixing and chilling. Binge watching TV shows and movies, of course it can be seductive. Of course we've all been there. I love my favorite TV shows and my favorite movies and stuff like that. But you gotta reel that stuff back, because what that does is it takes time away from doing really important, more kind of positive things like playing music and guitar. So stop binge watching, stop spending all that time in front of the TV, because it is absolutely taking time away from you developing as a guitarist and a musician. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's video on 24 tips on getting more time in your life for guitar and music. Hopefully you pick up a couple things, and if you have any additions or suggestions or comments, make sure to leave those below, and while you're at it, definitely give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell for future videos. Now, what inspired this video was we recently sent out an email to our Campfire Guitar Stars students asking them why they hadn't invested in our one-on-one coaching that we do over webcam with students all over the world. And one of the biggest things that we heard back was people saying, I don't have time. I don't have time to practice, so I don't deserve to buy lessons. I don't have time to play. I'm getting pulled in a million different directions. So Mike B and myself sat down and we came up with these 24 things that, in a lot of these things, we actually do. And as you can imagine, to get to the pro level, I've had to prioritize guitar to an extreme level. These are certainly some things that have helped me, so I'm happy to share those with you. And if you're interested in trying some one-on-one lessons with us here at Campfire Guitar Star, follow the directions on this page. You'll find the link to try out a couple of sessions at an introductory rate of just $59. for 2 sessions. So that means that you can get 2 hours of one-on-one time with a pro guitar coach for just 59 bucks. Probably one of the greatest things about taking one-on-one lessons is that it forces you to find the time. So it forces you to find the time for the lesson and for practice in between the sessions. So I hope to see that you take advantage of those one-on-one lessons that we offer. And also do let me know that you picked up a couple of tips here with 24 tips to get more time for guitar and music. Until the next lesson, keep on ripping it up.